Hey friend, if you're stuck with your feet always wanting to follow your hands, and you can't seem to truly break your limbs apart for truly creative syncopated or linear style drumming, then today's lesson is for you. Trust me, I've been there. Without implementing this simple paradiddle practice routine, you might stay stuck on this for a while, unable to break away from the super simple, boring, straight money beat kind of grooves. You've got to be able to have that ability to split the limbs, especially the feet, from your hands so that you can really play creatively and play what you want to play. So dive in with me today and I'll teach you how paradiddles really can transform your linear drumming with this simple 6-step exercise that will have you achieving creative flow in your playing. You'll be nailing all sorts of interesting syncopated patterns that maybe you hadn't thought possible before today. You can do this. Hey, welcome to the Non-Glamorous Drummer. I'm so glad you're hanging out with me today. I help self-taught beginner drummers know what to practice so that they can be able to nail songs and sound great with a band and become the drummer that people actually want to jam with and want to have in their band. So, hey, if that's you, you're in the right place today. There's a big problem though that we've all struggled with at some point, and it's that our limbs want to follow each other, which is totally natural. Nobody comes out of the womb with four-way coordination. This is something that we have to work at. And right foot tends to stick to the right hand and doesn't want to split apart from it. Left foot especially wants to, maybe you can get some timekeeping going on with the left foot, but naturally it wants to follow what the right hand is doing or what the right foot is doing. So it's very hard to get the left foot to do what it wants to. And so we struggle to break our limbs apart, but that's a necessary thing that we have to do as drummers in order to play anything really creative. If you want to create interesting melody with space in your playing, you want to find your creative voice. You want to play syncopated grooves, melodies, fills, and be able to play linear patterns. You've got to be able to break your limbs apart. And so this is very much worth doing. I know there was a point in my playing where I wanted to do creative stuff with my hi-hat foot, which by the way is an awesome tool for being extremely creative on the drums. Not a lot of drummers can do creative hi-hat stuff, but if you work at it, you can definitely do it. And it was something I wanted to do, but I couldn't get my left foot independent from my other limbs where it would actually play what I wanted it to play. And then I discovered a challenging but very simple exercise that really did explode my left foot independence. And that's what we're getting into today. It'll help with any one of your limbs, even left foot, if that's your struggle right now. But hey, before we get into that, if you're having trouble just playing the ideas in your head, like you hear something and you feel like you can play it on the drums, but it just doesn't come across the way you wanted it to, odds are that's a coordination issue, which we're working on today. But I want to give you something super practical and really fun. And so this is my free e-guide in the description below. It's a free PDF guide called Play What's in Your Head, 30 Days to 4-Way Rock Coordination for the Beginner Drummer. This guide is a whole bunch of fun. We start off with really simple grooves. The idea is you learn a new pattern each day. There's play-along recording, so even if you're new to notation, you can figure this out. And whether or not if you spend more than one day on a groove, that's fine. The idea is that this is 30 individual steps, just step by step. You're gradually introducing new elements to a groove, and you're basically building coordination without realizing it because you're having fun playing grooves that you'll actually use in songs. So many students have had a lot of fun with this. Thousands of students have worked through this, and what they always tell me is that by the time you get to like groove 10, you really start seeing a lot of progress. Hey, if you get to 30, that's even better. So go grab that. If you're having trouble with coordination, you want to play what's in your head, and you want a way to even apply some of what we're doing in today's lesson, this is going to be a great companion. So it's a total no-brainer, totally free. My gift to you, grab it in the description. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. We are going to force, I say in quotation marks, force linear freedom between all four limbs simply by practicing paradiddles. We all know paradiddles. Well, I'm not going to assume everybody knows paradiddles. If you're brand new, maybe you're new to this. I know paradiddles are kind of seen as one of those super fundamental building blocks of drumming. And it's literally just a simple sticking pattern of right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Very easy to do slowly, but a lot trickier when you start going fast and when you start doing weird stuff with it like we're going to do today. So get that in your head. If you are totally new, that's fine. If you're totally new to paradiddles, totally fine. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left is our paradiddle pattern. That is the only sticking or pattern or rhythm or whatever you want to call it that you need to know for today's lesson. But we're going to have all sorts of cool layers of challenge here because we're going to play slow paradiddles between every possible limb combination that we can do. So we have 4 limbs. So if you do the math on that, that means there are 6 possible pairs of limbs. We can do paradiddles between our hands, paradiddles between our feet, paradiddles between right hand, left foot, right foot, left hand, left foot, or left hand, right foot. So we're going to go through each of those. And what's really cool is each of these has the potential for you to kind of take it and run with it and do really cool, unique groove building stuff with it to really push your coordination even further. So you can do this super base level. Even if you're a total beginner, you can do every one of these combinations because we're going slow. This is not fast. It's not rocket science. You can do this. But if you're ready to gradually add some layers of challenge, you can really get a lot out of this by taking the next step and really taking the initiative to see what all you can do with these. Something else though, I want you to incorporate dynamic independence as you practice these. This is something we've talked about a little on the channel, the whole concept of being able to independently control one limb's volume without affecting all the others. So let's say we're playing paradiddles, and let's say we're doing the hands, and I have my right hand on the ride, left hand on the snare. It means being able to do something like this. So getting really loud with the right hand while keeping left hand soft, and then vice versa. If you can do that, that means that you fully have control over those 2 limbs. Not only do you have control over the sticking that you're playing, because you're thinking about the sticking, keeping things together, but you're also thinking about the dynamics and you're controlling the dynamics, which means you actually have established really strong brain connections with those 2 limbs. So if you're a total absolute beginner, it's okay if you can't do that just yet, but I want you to work toward that. And if you have been playing a little while, I want you to go ahead and be trying to do that, because that will actually help you master the paradiddle and help you master any sticking for that matter. Because what you need to learn to do is listen to one hand at a time. And when you're playing paradiddles and you're going right, left, right, bum, 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 we start to hear a rhythm. We start to hear a melody if we're accenting just one hand. Or if we accent the left, so we start to hear rhythm and melody in our playing, and that's why you can use these paradiddles to craft melodic kinds of things on the drums. That's another reason why this is so important. This is going to help you with syncopation. It's also going to help you with linear drumming and crafting unique melodic things. So here we go. We're going to play through each of these, and I'm going to show you kind of the additional ways that you can use them. So first we'll do the hands, which you can also turn into a groove. So you'll hear how I do this. We're going to do all these very slow. With the metronome, 50 beats a minute. We're playing them as 16ths, but 50. You could also play them as 8ths at 100. You do the math, so whatever you prefer. But we're going to start off with super slow paradiddles. Doesn't matter which 2 drums you use. If you're just on a pad, that's fine. You can tap your feet on the floor. If you're at the kit, though, you can have some fun with this. And so here we go. So what's cool about paradiddles with the hands is you can quickly turn that into a groove because the left hand lands on 2 and 4, and so that can become your backbeat. Right, left, 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 boom, ba, boom, ba. You can move the right hand around and get some really cool things. It's amazing the sounds you can come up with and the patterns you can come up with and the melodies you can come up with on the drums that are still just a simple paradiddle sticking. So that's all we're doing, paradiddle sticking, and all I did there was add a kick on 1 and 3. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E, and then later I added in some left foot timekeeping. So you can see how you can take this and run with this and practice paradiddles with your hands in all sorts of cool ways while adding in simple foot stuff. And so that's where you can go with this. Now, if you're a total beginner, don't worry about all that. Just start with the hands and practice making one hand loud, keeping the other soft, and vice versa. And then when you're ready, you can add the feet in. Now, as we move through the rest of these combinations, you're going to be working your feet in, and so your feet are going to get a lot better at getting involved. Because our second combination is the feet, and there's a way we can make this into a groove too. But simply put, we're just going to play paradiddles between the kick and the hi-hat. If you have a double bass pedal, sure, you could do it that way on the double bass. That way you can really hear if your feet are even. But really what we want to do here is target the challenge of getting our left foot to play in weird parts of the beat. Because naturally, left foot wants to just go. It's a timekeeper. Left foot kind of naturally takes on a timekeeping role like the right hand. But we want to teach that left foot to not just keep time, also have a creative role in a groove, just like how right hand should have a creative role in groove making and fill making. And so that's what's so powerful here. This was a big exercise that helped me a ton. When I was in college, I started practicing paradiddles with my feet, and suddenly I was able to start inserting the left foot into grooves at will and basically play stuff like. That's the kind of stuff that you start being able to play when you practice this. So here's what paradiddles with the feet will sound like. Feel free to play along. And what I'll do is I'll start adding in some stuff with my hands, and you can hear how you can make this into a groove that's pretty weird sounding and also pretty challenging. So obviously that can get complex very quickly. And so depending on what level you're at, there's some fun stuff you can take and run with there. But literally practicing that, and especially adding in the hands, it forces your left foot to now play in weird parts of the beat. And so get really comfortable with the foot paradiddles, which of course come after getting very comfortable with the hand paradiddles. That way you're getting your brain split up to do this linear back and forth between left side, right side. You can do it with your hands. It's going to be a lot easier to do it with your feet. And then you start to teach that left foot, hey, I can play in weird parts of the beat. I don't have to only play on beats, which is a really cool feeling. Give it some time, be patient with it, but you'll find that you're able to start getting more creative and improvisatory with that left foot. But hey, we're not done yet. There's more of this we can do. We've got 4 more combinations, and there are some creative things you can add onto these as you practice them. What I'm going to do is go through all 4 of these back to back. We've now got right hand, right foot, left hand, left foot, and left hand, right foot, those combinations. So I'm going to get the metronome going, I'm going to stick my ears in, and I'm going to play through all 4 of these back to back with some other ideas for things you can add into them when you're ready. So quick note on this one, you can get really weird, and because right foot is not used to having a timekeeping role with left foot having the active role, what you can do here with the right hand, left foot one is do that, but then add in quarter notes with the right foot. This is super weird. I'll see if I can do it. It's one of these things that makes my brain want to explode because it feels so different from what I'm normally accustomed to playing. So basically, right foot's going to become a quarter note timekeeper while we do paradiddles between the right hand and the left foot. This is definitely challenging, but when you're ready for it, just something else, another way you can take this pattern and run with it and continue growing. So here we go. Let's see if I can do it. It really is weird. It makes my brain want to break. It's such a strange one, but something really cool you can do, because just as a across the board tip, when you're wanting to build coordination, if you can flip something upside down or flip it backwards or make your limbs do sort of a role reversal, that'll really push your coordination, just like playing open-handed or sitting down at a backwards kit. And in this case, it's a role reversal because we're used to left foot being timekeeping, right foot being active melody rhythm. Suddenly we're going the other way and it's like, whoa, it makes our brains want to break. And so that's a super challenging one. Okay, I told you I was going to do all those back to back, but I had to show you that weird one. And so here goes the next two. We're now going to do left hand, left foot, and then we'll do left hand, right foot. Here we go. So that one there gets kind of interesting because it makes me think of like a Dave Matthews Band Carter Beaufort style playing where he's inserting left-hand hi-hat notes while he's playing, which comes from his, open-handed technique. But let's say we're keeping time over here and we're going. And we want to play something like that where left hand takes on a more syncopated role as part of the timekeeping. That's another way to practice that, where you're doing that kind of pattern there. So as you can see in here, there's not really any limit to how far you can go with these. And yes, you can practice them super simply, which I want you to do if you're a beginner, just doing hand paradiddles, feet paradiddles, and then the other 4 combinations. Don't worry about anything else. But as soon as you're ready to get crazy and start layering in, other limbs keeping time that maybe don't normally keep time, adding in backbeats and turning them into grooves, there's so much you can do with this. And I'll tell you this, my most successful students are the ones who take these things and run with them. They practice this stuff over and over again until it becomes second nature, and then they think, all right, what are other ways I can practice this to reach my goals? Let's say I'm wanting to play more syncopated with my left foot. How can I continue to build off of this to challenge my left foot more? And so if you take the initiative to do that, I promise you will grow like crazy, and you'll be like so many of my top students who run with these things and they make them their own. And that's kind of a big part of, if you're going to be self-taught on the drums and you're watching these YouTube lessons, you have to take the initiative to see, all right, what can I do with this? Because you don't have somebody literally sitting down and telling you what to do with it. And that's kind of the way I want this lesson to be, where I'm giving you a foundation of, hey, here are the things I want you to practice, but you can also go farther with this. And if you do, the results are going to be even more massive. Just be patient with it and don't bite off more than you can chew. Take it one step at a time. But here's some big wins to expect as you practice this, looking 6 months down the road. Remember, long term, be patient. 1, you'll be on your way to nailing linear patterns. Technically, these are linear patterns, so you are nailing linear patterns, but you're gaining the ability to play whatever kind of sticking pattern you want to, like you know, whatever ridiculousness that is, every limb all playing at once, that's the kind of stuff you gain the ability to do simply by starting with paradiddles. 2, you'll be able to play much more syncopated patterns by default. You'll just be able to do more syncopation because you've taught your limbs how to do that. 3, you'll feel much more creatively capable on the drums, able to play what's in your head and have a unique creative voice on the drums. And 4, you'll be able to achieve smooth flow between limbs, crafting melodies on the drums. That's something that, that gets mentioned a lot. You know, I want to have better flow in my playing. I want to be able to go from one thing into another and create melodic patterns that are cool and that are unique and that sound awesome and have that ability to just flow. This is a great way to do that. And I think that's what a lot of students are getting at when they say the word flow. I want to have not only smooth navigation around the kit, but smooth flow between limbs, interchanging, you know, what limbs you're using and what orchestration you're doing around the kit. And so that's something you gain by doing this. So, question for you as you go. Which of these 6 paradiddle combinations is hardest for you? I want you to sit down and play through these. Which one is the hardest? And so what do you need to focus on in your practicing for maximum coordination results and maximum smoothness and flow in your creative playing? That's where you have to take the initiative here and see, okay, I have a really hard time with left foot and right hand, for instance. Maybe that's a weird one. Or maybe just the feet are a weird one. Figure out which of these is the hardest, and so that's going to help you find a weak spot in your coordination. So how can you target that? How can you continue working that? And remember to do dynamic independence and practice making one loud and the other soft. You know, super soft on the kick, super loud here, or and so practice doing that until you can get really comfortable, really solid with the paradiddles with your feet. Do whatever you've got to do, but do that self-analysis, that self-assessment to see what is hard for me here, how can I overcome this, and then be patient. Patience is always the name of the game. Be thinking long-term and know that when you practice this and you stick with this stuff, you can do it. Because like I told you earlier, nobody comes out of the womb with coordination. Just because I was telling a student this recently, because he was asking like about a particular exercise. Is this easy for you now, Stephen? And I said, well, yeah, it's easy for me now because I've been playing for 15 years, really a little longer than that, but I've been like really playing for 15 years. But it was not easy for me back when I started. When I first started playing the drums, I was stuck playing these very, you know, the typical beginner beats, and I couldn't stray from that. I couldn't fathom being able to play anything creative. And so that's something I had to work at. Every one of us does. Nobody, you know, even a child prodigy doesn't just naturally have coordination. That's something they have to work at. Some of us learn it more quickly than others. We all go at different paces, but I want you to know that you can do this. You can learn four-way coordination. You can learn syncopation, linear drumming, and you can have that creative flow around the drums. You just got to be patient with the process and enjoy the process. Have fun. Take satisfaction in growing just a little bit every day. And that guide I told you about earlier is going to help you with that. The Play What's in Your Head, 30 Days to Four-Way Rock Coordination Guide. It's giving you a really fun step-by-step so you can feel like you're making progress and be like, yes, I played that groove yesterday. Now I'm going to do this when I nailed those last week. And so that's so satisfying and fulfilling. So be sure to grab that guide, my free gift to you. As always, thanks for hanging out today. Stay non-glamorous. Know that you can do this. I'll see you on the next lesson.